Recording in progress. Good evening, everybody. How are you guys? Let's type something up. Let me know where you're coming from. Let's go. Valentine's Day is at the door, and we are going to show you guys something really, really nice. This is one of the dishes that I used to do in the very early day of restaurants when I tried to show off without the knowledge. This was one of those dishes, easy to make and big, bold effect. Shout out to all the folks out of California. Look at that, San Diego, LA, or Minnesota, not quite Rotterdam. Vincent, Rotterdam as Europe? Rotterdam, like Holland? New Jersey, like there, I like it. All right, guys, so tonight, in the wake of coming up Thanksgiving, not Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day, I was thinking about, you know what, I had a great turkey sandwich today, and I was like, this sandwich, this is the best turkey I had, and I started to think about Thanksgiving all day. So I was thinking about it's Thanksgiving right now. No, it's Valentine's Day dish. So what we're gonna do with my partner at Morongo Casino Resort and Spa, we are gonna showcase one of the dishes with one of the component, the roasted pork tenderloin with some amazing red wine risotto that is going to be featured both in the Italian station as well as the prime steak station at the new marketplace at Morongo. By the way, guys, TikTok, we are close to the opening day. I cannot wait to get there at the property and spend a bunch of time there with you guys, cooking and eating like nobody's watching. The opening, hopefully, finger crossed, we are missing a few pieces, should be sometime within the month of April, early to mid-April, hopefully before Easter, all right? So now, here's what we're gonna do. So red wine risotto. Basically, we're gonna cook risotto with a bottle of red wine. Now, I always say that you don't need to spend a lot of money on a red wine that is a cooking wine, but also you don't want to get a cooking wine for red wine. Cooking wine is usually terrible. Red wine, good bottle, are usually too expensive for risotto, for pasta, or for wasting a cooking instead of just getting a glass and drinking, right? So what we're gonna do, you get a good bottle of red, not an excellent bottle of red. You get a bottle of red that you wouldn't mind, take a good sip and a sniff out of it. Make sense? If you wouldn't drink it, don't cook with it. That's kind of the basic. Also, if you have any question, please, I see the chat. We have Emily, that she is great, and she's gonna help us in sorting some of your questions. So I got the red wine. Let's start the risotto. First and foremost, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get a deeper saute pan, something that is a little thicker than a classic saute pan. This is a perfect pan for risotto. And what I'm gonna do here, I am getting the pan nice and hot. I got medium to low fire underneath. And here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna get some pancetta. Pancetta, it's basically cured pork belly. Pancetta is where bacon wants to be when he dies and go to the heaven of salumi. That's what pancetta is. Pancetta is a dead, glorified bacon. So now, and here's what we got. 1, 2, 3. Then I put it on the side. And look, so the way that we do these with the pancetta is basically to get as fine as possible of little strips. There, all right? Look at that, perfect. Then now that I have the pan nice and hot, I'm going to add the pancetta to it, which immediately start to sear. You're there? Immediately. Look at that. There. And then I'm going to add on the pan, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a tablespoon of butter, a nice tablespoon of butter in the pan to let the pancetta caramelize for a few minutes. All right. Now on the cutting board here, what I'm also going to do, I'm going to start to peel 2 shallots or 2 small onion, right? Shallots or onion, especially if they're small, it's kind of very similar. You get a little bit more pungent flavor with an onion. But if you don't like that, you can easily get a shallots and solve all your onion problems. All right. So there, peel it. There. There. And there. All right. Just like that. Let's look at the pancetta here. Pancetta is getting nice and render. Now, what I want to do, I really want to release all the fat from the meat. So basically, we are cooking down the fat in the pan. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a very small pinch of salt, as the pancetta is already salted, and a nice pinch of black pepper. All right. Very nice pinch of black pepper, little pinch of salt, because you're using cured meat. The meat is cured. So what happened is that there is a lot of minerality there. And the wine has a lot of minerality. By reducing that, you get the flavor. You get the acid and you get the mineral. You don't need a lot of salt. All right. So then, as the pancetta caramelizes, here's what we do. I'm going to turn these on medium, slightly higher. And look what we're going to do now. Now we're going to slice the onion. Keep your finger out of the way. Or not, if you're a ninja. And now we add the onion in there. All right. Onion in the pan. And here's the best part about adding an onion in the pan is the flavor. Now the onion cooks with the pancetta. Look at that. Absolutely delicious. Look at that. There you go. Nice and medium. Now we go to medium high because I really want to make sure that everything is nice and crisp, nice and delicious. See, this is one of the things that you're going to love about Morongo. Aside from being one of the most excellent resort in California, we also have a level of service and knowledge of culinary, which puts the marketplace, a culinary mecca, neck to neck with the best restaurant in California, the classic sit-down restaurant. This is a beautiful, gigantic 20,000 square foot space with 8 different culinary destinations under one roof. And the craftsmanship that goes into those dishes, it's parallel only to the best restaurant in California. And I dare you to come and try it. I'll be there, and I can't wait to see you guys.
Hey, Fabio, we have a question.
Please.
Melody is asking what brand of pan you're using.
Melody, right? Melody. So yeah. These are 2 different sets of a company called Bialetti, Bialetti, Bialetti. I've worked with them in the past. I used to be a spokesperson. So I used to get also paid to say these things, but now I am no longer, and I still say it because I really like them. So now what do we do here? Now it's time to add the rice. All right. Now, when you add the rice to the pan, you got to be careful because a handful of rice equal to a full plate like this, right? So now I'm putting 2.5 plates because meets my wife, and we're going to have some leftover. So now we got the rice in the pan, and all we got to do here is get the rice nice and absorbed with the fat from the pancetta. Then I have walnuts, and I have a handful of walnuts in it, and I'm going to reserve some walnuts for the top, right? Look at that. And I'm going to reserve some walnuts for the top. Now, it's time for the rice. Get nice and cooked.
Hey, Fabio, question.
Yes, please.
Harry would like to know, is that called toasting the rice?
It is called toasting the rice, correct. Now, although it's not quite a toast, because you're not really caramelizing the grain, you just have the fat kind of absorbed into the grain, and then you just add the liquid. Now, if you were French and if you like to spend 3 hours making risotto, then you would have probably actually toasted the rice grain, like let a lot longer, not to a brown, but to a kind of a light version of a toast color. And remind you, now we're going to use the entire bottle. I just like not to add the bottle all at once because it is much better for me to add the little bit of wine as covering the top of the pan like this. And as these reduce, we're going to add some more. Now, mind you, there is people that are saying that you should always add the warm liquid or hot liquid to a risotto, never cold, because technically stop the rice from cooking and all that. I will add a little bit wine and a little bit wine at a time. Wine, it's a pain in the ass to keep warm. What am I supposed to do? Boil it? No, I just add it from the bottle. On broth and everything else, I agree. Just keep it warm, but on wine, just get it out of the bottle and just be done with it. All right. So here's what we're going to do now. If you see these, the wine is reducing fairly fast. Now let me show it to you. The wine is reducing fairly fast, and as the wine reduces, what we're going to do, we're going to, just like I said, add a little bit of wine, little bit of wine, little bit of wine.
We have a quick question if you have a minute.
Please.
Deborah is asking, are there different kinds of risotto? Is one or another more appropriate for this recipe?
That's a great question. There is 50 different kinds of risotto, from European to Asian to whatever. Italian, there is 3 kinds of rice that is proper for risotto. This, Acquerello, it's the best rice in Italy. Acquerello. Acquerello. It's an aged rice grain that still keep the little husk on it. So a lot more starches, a lot creamier, a lot firmer. Then the second best rice for risotto, it's called carnaroli. It's complicated Italian words. These people, why would you call it carnaroli? Can you call it just yo or boo or something short and sweet? No, carnaroli, acquerello. Anyway, those are the two best for creaminess in risotto, which is a mantecated mantecato with no butter and cheese at the very end. And there is another quality, variety that brings good quality to a risotto. It's called arborio. Arborio is very common in America grocery store. All right. So now let's look at this again. See, I'm adding a little bit of wine without letting it kind of lose, without letting it lose the boil. All right. It's still boiling and I got the wine there. See, still boiling and we got the wine there. Now, here's what we got to do. As the rice cook, I'm going to move these in the back. I'm going to move these in the back. And as the rice cook, I'm going to start to look into my tenderloin. All right. So now, actually, let's take a look at the tenderloin that we have right here. And let's see what we got. All right. So tenderloin, pork tenderloin. This is a nice tenderloin, but it's kind of a lot thinner here and a lot bigger there. So what I like to do, not many people do, but what I like to do is to make a uniform, almost like a pipe. So what I do, I actually, see how big is here and how thin is here? I actually like to go with the knife and kind of level the playing field. Now, I'm going to still cook these and I'm going to still eat it, but at least these, now it's even. See, at least that it's even now, all right? Look at that. Let me wash my hand really quick. So now what we got? We got the pork there. Now we're going to add the good amount of seasoning. We're going to add the good amount of seasoning on it.
Hey, Fabio, we have a quick question about the wine.
Please.
Sonia is asking if you can use any type of red.
Yes, Sonia, any type of red that you would be delight to have a glass of it. Don't use crappy cooking wine, $2 chuck kind of thing. Because if it's not drinkable by your standard, you shouldn't cook with it. Now, also, I'm not suggesting spend $500 bottle of wine to cook a risotto with, because at the end, it's pork, it's onion, it's pancetta, it's parmesan, but you don't quite recognize the flavor of the wine, but you will recognize it if you use a crappy wine. It's gonna taste like gasoline anyway, right? Instead, if you use a decent red wine, not an excellent one, it's gonna taste more like a good minerality, a good pungent tannin kind of concentrated red wine flavor. Make sense? So now what do we do with the pork? Very simple. Here's what we do. So with the pork right now, we're gonna get salt and pepper. And we're gonna season the loin with salt and pepper. And like I said, I'm gonna season also this other little piece. I just cook these on the side. And that's the chef bite. It's called the chef bite. All the little bits and pieces that doesn't make the main meal, chef gets to eat it. It's like my mom used to break a ravioli or used to cut a fettuccine that wasn't pretty. She used to cook it and she used to eat it. All right. And that's a good thing. It just doesn't look as good, but the flavor is absolutely there. All right. So now I'm going to keep my risotto bottle here, my red wine bottle here. And by the way, check this out. This is boiling. All right. It has a nice medium fire on it. And this is still boiling there. All right. So that's boiling. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to get a pan that is medium low, And now I'm gonna put a very large piece of butter on. 2 tablespoons at least. I'm gonna put a little bit of pepper. And then I'm gonna get ready with some aromatics. Garlic, cloves, herbs. Look at that. We got some garlic cloves there. We got some herbs. And we got a nice piece of butter. Right?
Fabio,
Okay.
we have one more question about wine.
Please.
Harry is asking, on the subject of the red wine, is dry or sweet wine usually better?
I wouldn't go too sweet. Let's put it this way. Just as much as I wouldn't go too dry. Cabernet, Pinot Noir, Chianti, Sangiovese, great. Stay away from ice wine. Stay away from Passito. Stay away from Marsala. Stay away from Cannonau or Zinfandel. Something that are very fruity and sweet, right? Stay on something a little bit more traditional, like a Cabernet or a Chianti or a Pinot Noir or a Cabernet Franc or something like that. So now, let's get these in the pan. Look at that, one. And you don't have to pay a lot of attention to this one. I don't care about that. That will be a collateral damage of this. As long as you do these right, it's gonna be nice and crunchy and it's gonna be absolutely delicious, but it's not gonna be necessarily meant to be in the main dish. All right. So now clean the counter here a little bit. Look at that. Perfect. So now what do we do with that? So now what we try to do is very simple. We're gonna try to cook these in the pan. And what we're gonna do, by the way, actually, look at this. I'm gonna finish the bottle, all right, in there. Look at that. All right, that's going. Still cooking there. So now, let's look at this. What I'm going to start to do, again, this doesn't matter. This is irrelevant. But with this, I'm going to lift it and put it back down. Lift it, let the fat goes under, and put it back down again. All right? Lift it and put it back down, lift it and put it back down. What we're trying to do with the tenderloin, we're trying to caramelize equally 360 degrees of roundness of meat, if that even makes sense in English. Basically, we're trying to cook and caramelize everything around it, all right? So now, how do we do that? It's very simple. We keep flipping it. We keep flipping it like this. And now we keep it there. Actually, you know what I'm telling you? I'm going to use these as a wall to keep it standing. Look at that. See that? Genius. Smart. These in Spanish, it's called cerebro. See? Look at that. That's a good one. See, you think I took the low, what is he doing? Why don't you keep the whole thing off? Because I don't want to have a pork that is half cooked and overcooked or no, equal. So yeah, and then this is gonna go here, right there. I'm gonna still eat it before I present the dish to anybody else. I'm gonna snack on that as we talk. And now I am caramelizing everything around the surface of the pork. Now, here's what I want you to do. You see here, we have the pork is cooking and the rice is absorbing the wine, all right? It's absorbing the wine. What I want to do, I want to actually add a little bit of water to it. Let me get some water. All right, let me get a hold of a little bit of water. And basically what we're going to do is simple. We're going to add the little water and we're going to finish the caramelization and the cooking and the reduction of the rice. All right. So we got these. I'm going to add a little bit of water to it. Again, don't stop the cooking. Still there. My God, is everything exploded here? What's happening? What's going on? There's oil everywhere. What is that for? All right, there. Damn, everywhere. So now we're gonna go here with the tenderloin. We're gonna flip it one more time. Now it doesn't need that. Now I'm gonna do, look at that caramelization on the pork. Now, because the oil is getting a little too dark, another little bit of butter, another tablespoon, another tablespoon of butter. As we round the tenderloin, the circle of cooked meat will shrink and shrink and shrink. When it's halfway cooked and 360 degrees caramelized in a circle, we're gonna let it rest as we finish the risotto. I'm thirsty. I'm not sponsoring this. This is a delicious drink. It's like blueberry tea. I love it. Now what do we do? Look, very simple. We're gonna get the herbs and the garlic. And we're gonna flavor the butter.
Hey, Fabio, we have a question.
Yes.
Harry is asking, how would you describe the taste difference from a chicken stock risotto and a wine risotto?
Well, one tastes like chicken stock, the other one tastes like red wine. Now, it sounds like a silly answer, but that's what the difference, if you can picture, see, the human brain, it's a beautiful thing. I can tell you right now to imagine to lick a spoon. Don't do it. Just imagine. And your brain is going to taste and make you feel exactly what you're going to feel like when you lick it. So now imagine that you sip some broth. Tastes brothy, tastes like a little chicken or beef or shrimp, or taste a glass of red wine. Tastes completely different. Mineral, tannins, like fruit, herbs, like much more rustic and gamey. That's the same difference. Something cooked with red wine is going to taste like it's been cooked in red wine. Something cooked in chicken stock is going to taste very bland, like chicken stock, right? So now what we do here, a little bit more water to it, and once that water is done, the rice is done. So now we gotta flip the meat again. Now I'm gonna move this to the other side. There. There. It is beautiful. And the aroma, the smell, my God, the smell of this dish. Also, please make sure that you plate that into a beautiful plate. Don't get yourself caught into serving your food into crappy serveware. I get it. We all had dinner and lunches, and I grew up with plastic dishes because we couldn't afford China. Not China like China meaning dishes. And the reality is that I don't mind it. But now that I have a little bit more mean than when I grew up, I like to use good plate, because a good plate enhance the appearance and the flavor of a dish, because a good plate that keeps the temperature and contain the broth instead of spreading it, it helps the dish taste better. Much, much better.
Fabio, we have a question.
Please.
Michael is asking how he can get an invite to your house to taste the bourbon in that cabinet.
So that is a great question. So Mark, what's his name? Michael?
Michael.
So Michael, there is two ways to access to have dinner with me at my home in Illinois. So one, you get invited for what I call the corporate dining experience. So basically, a lot of corporation, they want to entertain their top tier client, customer, executive, performer. They book me in my own estate in Illinois. I have a beautiful home with a massive entertaining kitchen, pool table, movies, and everything. Wine cellar, largest bourbon collection, one of the largest in the United States. And you get invited and you come. Or I have actually a supper club. Now, 2022 is already sold out. We're going to open registration for 2023 in like 45 to 60 days. So if you follow me, if you text my cell phone, we can get you an application, and that's a supper club. It's a member-only fee that gets you to have dinner a couple of times a year in my house with me in the home, and a bunch of cool people, and basically give you access to all my restaurant, reservation, concierge, another dozen of events throughout the year that you're invited. And you get to drink very, very expensive spirits. We got stuff like Macallan, 30, 40, 50, all poppies, anything you can dream of, we probably got 2 bottles of it. So with that said, you either get invited by some corporation, or you find a way to get a hold of a membership. And there is only 250 membership available every year, because again, it's my house, it's not like a freaking restaurant. And so for a fee, you can bring a +1. We have dinner twice a year in my house, and we can also, we're gonna host you another, like I said, dozen of events throughout the year, complimentary. It's a great membership, but again, it's a small, intimate group of fanatics about food, wine, and beverages. We fly food from all over the world. It's an experience. It's amazing. So anyway, actually, Emily, can you do me a favor?
Sure.
On my Instagram bio, there is my cell phone number on it. Do you mind to type it? I think it's 805-991-5126, but I don't remember which one is the corporate.
Yeah, grab it.
Yeah, just put my cell phone number. If you're interested, Michael, I would love to talk to you about it. Again, it's completely booked out for this year, but we can look at 2023. So basically, you text my cell phone, you say, hey, I'm interested in the estate experience, and then I'll send you all the information. And if you get in next year, there is an application process. There is a vetting process. Again, it's my home. I don't want a bunch of weirdos here. No offense. I'm sure you're not a weirdo. But again, I got the sanctity of my house. Plus, I got a lot of bourbon, a lot of stuff. We need cool people here. So now I'm going to turn off the pork, which has a perfect caramelization. Look at that, nice and perfectly caramelized. Now I'm going to let that sit there for a minute. I'm going to take this out. I'm going to let it cool here, and then we try it. The rice is quite not ready yet.
Hey, Fabio, we do have a couple people asking about the herbs. If it's rosemary and sage that you're using.
Yes, this is fresh herbs. I didn't spend a lot of time talking about it because it's just herbs. Rosemary, sage, thyme, tarragon. You can put some fennel fronds, any aromatic herbs. I wouldn't put stuff like cilantro or mint. Cilantro because ruins everything. Mint because it makes no sense with the dish. Mint would have been nice on a little sauce, like a cold sauce on top, the pork with maybe some pineapple, some apple, some peaches on the pork. Absolutely delicious. A little freshness of the meat, almost like a chutney on top, right? But now we gotta let the pork cool down and carry over cooking. All right. So by the way, thank you, Emily, for putting my cell phone there, 805-991-5126. I will always answer you. But now, mind you, this is my cell phone. It's in my pocket. Actually, no, it's right here. So if you text the number in the chat, it comes to this cell phone. But I'm like 600 messages behind. So it might take me a week to get back to you, but I will. I always do.
My email as well, just in case.
Yeah, perfect. And Emily email is there. She is in charge of all those folks. She always takes care of people. So now we got the red wine risotto. Should be a butter. Now I'm going to let the butter melt. I'm going to add a little bit of Parmesan cheese to it. And also, I'm going to let this melt. All right. There. Now, what's happening right now? As you can see, the pork is sitting there. Why is it sitting there, Fabio? Why don't you slice it? Because I don't want to yet. I don't want to slice it yet. I want to let it cook. I like my pork medium well. So I want to let it cook and carry over cooking. Carry over cooking is basically once you turn the fire off, the hot juices from the pan and the outside, they will redistribute themselves in the inside, raising the internal temperature of the pork or steak or turkey or whatever you like by 10 to 15%. So if you look for a cool, 185, 200 or 220, whatever it is, you gotta take that measure and stop cooking it when you're 10% below that. So carryover cooking will bring it up in the resting process. That's why it's so important to have, rest your proteins, all right? And when I say rest your proteins, I don't mean the protein shake you had this morning. I mean the steak, the ribeye, the burgers, let it sit, because otherwise they're gonna release juices and run over everywhere, all right?
Hey, Fabio, quick question while you're taking a little break. Kristen is asking, is the risotto off the heat now?
Yes, ma'am, or miss, or signorina, yes. Everything it's off. The rice, it's off. The pork, it's off. Now, my rice, it's off. Your rice should be off if it looks like my rice. If it's still too liquid, don't keep it on. If it's too dry and it's not creamy like this, then add a little bit more broth, little bit, few tablespoons. Look how creamy this is. See that? Look how creamy it is, right? So I'm gonna let it sit for a few minutes. And here's what we're gonna do now, all right? So first of all, I'm gonna try the pork. I think I did that. Look at this pork. Magnificent. Look at that. Wow. Holy moly. Man, it's good. I gotta call my wife. She's upstairs. Right. All right. Hey, babe, I'm in the middle of the class, but the pork is outstanding. And I told everybody I was going to give you some. You want to send John down or come down and get some pork so you guys can have it up? It's phenomenal. Trust me. Sorry, I had to text my wife because what's happening now is that if I don't offer some of the pork and she eat it later, then she's going to get really upset because I didn't give it to her right away. I'm a smart guy. Got to take care of the miss, you know? So now, the rice is sitting here for a few minutes. Look at that.
Hey, Fabio, quick question about the rice. What is the approximate ratio of liquid to rice?
The approximate ratio is 1 cup of rice for 5 cups of liquid. It takes about 5 cups of liquid to cook 1 cup of rice, if you keep adding them a little bit at a time. Pork is fantastic. I think my wife is not looking at her phone, and she's definitely missing out. Definitely. It's delivered, but it's not read. Oh well. Now, all right.
Fabio, Perry is asking, does your wife ever cook for you and what's her special dish?
No, and I don't have an answer for question number 2, because number 1 is no. Would you cook for me? Listen. I got lucky in the wife department, but she does not cook. And I don't blame it, because she's married to a world-class chef. Why would you? Would you cook if you were married to me? I mean, you probably would once in a blue moon, but why? She take care of everything else. I just don't cook. She doesn't cook. She doesn't cook. I do. Sorry, English still gets in the way sometimes. So now, you see that? Look at that. Look at the glory. Look at the glory. So now what do? Now we're going to put a little goat cheese on it. Like that. Now we're going to put a little walnuts on it. Like that. Then we're going to get our tenderloin. Like that. Put it there. Now, there is some people there that are like, yeah, that probably it's raw. Really, Fabio? Why don't you show us? With pleasure. Look at that. It's really hot. Damn it. Look at this. Perfectly cooked pork. Oh, it's really hot. Then we're going to get this bomb pork like this. We're going to put that in the middle. Look at this dish. Seriously? Absolutely outstanding home run. Look at this. Look at that. Fantastic. Fantastic. Little hit of salt. Little hit of pepper. Gotta wash my hand one more time. In the meantime, look at this. Seriously? I mean, guys. And we made these in less than 45 minutes. Just imagine what we're gonna serve you a morongo. Imagine what we're gonna serve you at the marketplace at Morongo. Think about it. You got a world-class resort and casino center, absolutely nested into the most breathtaking view of mountainsides, and then bam, you're hungry and you eat this stuff. Does it look like casino food to you? Look at this. Look at these things. Look at, seriously, people, you want to look at it again? Boom, side camera. Look at this. Look at that. I mean, seriously. Look at this. Ladies and gentlemen, listen up. I have been waiting to open this place, the marketplace, by me, at the Morongo Casino Resort and Spa, for a year and a half. Damn COVID screwed every plan of opening, shipping, everything. You had to stop 18 months. Now we're ready. I have never been this excited about a project I have done ever, never, ever, super duper, never. All right. So April, you got my cell phone number, 805-991-5126 in the hell's name, the chat box. Text me, stay in touch. We will let you know when we open. When you're open, gonna be nice night of gathering. You come and say hello. We're gonna hang out in California together, guys. In the meantime, I wish you nothing but a happy Valentine's. Spend the time with the people you love, or love the people that love you back. Whatever you want to do. If you're the one that organized Valentine, good for you. If you're the one that gets organized, good for you. And guess what? If you're by yourself, relationships are overrated anyway. It's okay. Don't miss anything. Don't worry about it. You're good. Now, guys, red wine risotto, goat cheese. Look at this dish. I can't stop looking at it. It is very good looking. Like, this is by far, I would say safely, Emily, please confirm if you feel like, this is safely one of the best looking dishes I have done on a virtual event. Look at this thing. It's glorious. Guys, enjoy the rest of your night. I love you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless you. Stay safe, stay free. I will see you guys in California. Happy Valentine's, everybody. Enjoy.